The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls is proud to partner with Central Insurance Companies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian-American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
Everybody, we don't have a sound system tonight, so we'll have to do the best that we can. We do have Look TV, TV8, and we are recording it with microphones, tonight's meeting with microphones on the tables. In any event, welcome to the regular town board meeting, Town of Queensbury. It's July 12th, 2021, and the time is 7:01 p.m. So before we begin the regular agenda items, I would ask you to please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. And I do have an announcement. I'll probably make it towards the end of the meeting too. That on our July 26th town board meeting, we're going to seek input on what do you want to do with the cannabis. We can do nothing, and that's an automatic opt-in, or we can opt out. And you can opt out of the retail dispensary. You can opt out of the on-site allowing of all on-site use. Well, and we do want to have a public discussion on that. We've already had a public discussion start, and Neil Iverson just says, "Dear Mr. Stroud, I'd like to go on record as being in favor of the town of Queensbury approving retail sales of marijuana and related products in the town. It's long past time to repudiate the lies and harm done by a particular individual in the 30s when he vilified marijuana. We now need to fully rescind the prohibition of legal and responsible marijuana use. Thank you, Dean Neil Iverson." All right, so we do want public input on this. Like I said, if we're going to opt out, we have until December 31st, 2021. And you can opt out of allowing retail in your town. You can opt out on on-site consumption. Now, if you opt out, you probably can force a referendum on that. If enough people sign the petition, they can force a vote on it. If the town opts in, which means you don't opt out, you still are allowed to set rules and impose a reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions. And it gets very complicated. We have this handout by the Association of Towns. And I think it's very good, very comprehensive, very thorough review of the legal situation as it currently stands in the town of New York. It's called the Town Officials Guide to Cannabis. The Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, or MRTA, and this was a summary for town governments. You can get it on the Association of Towns website. And it gives you the overview, the state structure, things that we will be talking about in more detail on the 26th. So we're going to be sharing thoughts on the 26th about cannabis. And we seek your opinions. All right, that out of the way. We have one quick item just to set a public hearing in the Queensbury Board of Health. But we need to move into the Board of Health first. Is there a motion to move into the Queensbury Board of Health? Moved by Councilperson Medevere, seconded by Councilperson Freer.
All those louder, Tony, because she's got to record.
All those in favor of moving into the Queensbury Board of Health, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. We're now in the Queensbury Board of Health. Rose, would you please introduce to the public the one item we're going to deal with as a public health?
This is a resolution setting a public hearing on sewage disposal variance application of Harley and Tia Griffith.
All right, Harley and Tia Griffith live at 298 or own, I should say, 298 Cleverdale Road. And they have applied to the local Board of Health for a variance from Chapter 136 to maintain an existing disposal system that does not meet today's current requirements on their property as follows. They would like to maintain the 4,000-gallon holding tank system at their seasonal 6-bedroom residence instead of installing a 5,000-gallon holding tank required for 6-bedroom residents. So there will be a public hearing on this matter Monday, July 26th, if the board approves the setting of the public hearing for July 26th. It'll be right here in the Activity Center at the beginning of the town board meetings, which always start at 7 p.m., at least the regular meetings do. Okay, so again, this is a variance application from Harley and Tia Griffith. Is there a motion to set the public hearing for Monday, July 26th on this application?
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilperson Freer, seconded by Councilperson Perrone. Roll call vote on this, please, Rose.
Councilperson Freer.
Yes.
Perrone.
Yes.
McNulty is absent. Stroud.
Yes.
And Medevere.
Yes.
All right. Public hearing is set for Harley and Tia Griffith's application Monday, July 26th. That's the only item we have with the Board of Health. Is there a motion to move out of the Board of Health?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilperson Medevere, seconded by Councilperson Perrone. All those in favor of moving out of the Queensbury Board of Health, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. We're now out of the Queensbury Board of Health. The next item is a public hearing item. And Rose, when you're ready, please.
The public hearing, an amendment to South Queensbury Avenue Sewer District sewer rent rates.
All right, the rates are currently $5.50 for 1,000 gallons per quarter. And Chris Harrington, who is the wastewater director, is proposing that we make it $7 per 1,000 gallons per quarter, commencing with January 2022. And appearing on the May 2022 billing. So this is to set a public hearing on, we set the public hearing. The public hearing is tonight. And again, Kevin Hayjos from Warren County has been contacted on this matter. Joe Grilling from Washington County has been contacted on this matter. Dana Hogan, supervisor for the town of Queensbury, are the affected parties. So, again, the $5.50 per 1,000 gallons per quarter has been subsidized. It's below cost. So that's why he's proposing $7 per 1,000 gallons. It's in accord with the actual costs. And this is for the South Queensbury Avenue Sanitary Sewer District. This is one of those districts we did not consolidate. If you remember from the last meeting, we consolidated sewer districts. because this sewer district dealt with the county governments of Warren and Washington, as well as the town government of Queensbury, and not really directly related to Queensbury because of those other entities. It's not like the others, so that was not included in the consolidation. However, having said that, it's now time, and the last time that we raised the rates was 2004. So it's been, 17 years. So, in all fairness, $7 per 1,000 gallons per quarter is fair. But there's a public hearing on this tonight. Is there anybody tonight who wishes to speak to this resolution authorizing amendment to South Queensbury Avenue Sanitary Sewer District sewer rent rates in the manner that I just described? All right, nobody present. Oh, Tim McNulty's. All right. I'm going to put Tim McNulty in case he wants to say something. Tim, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm fine, John. Thank you.
All right, we can hear you too. Okay. Seeing no member of the public interested in speaking to this authorization amendment, increasing the sewer rent for South Queensbury Avenue Sanitary Sewer District from $5.50 to $7 per quarter per 1,000 gallons.
Do you need to give people on Zoom an opportunity?
Well, is there somebody on Zoom?
I don't know.
I'm looking, and attendees, there's 2 attendees.
Okay.
And I don't know legally if I have to, but I will.
Yeah, no, it's just useful.
It's now says it's going to be at the meeting. So
Even somebody that has something to say, I mean, you can do it through email. You don't have to be at a meeting.
but you can, of course, ask members of the public whatever manner you want, but legally the requirement is we gave notice for it's back to normal. You'll be here like you'd have to be here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But you can open it up.
Well,
That is in the comfort.
well, there's nobody that is on there that wants to speak to it. I don't see anybody here. So, having no public interest in this matter, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a vote to approve. Moved by Councilperson Medevere, seconded by Councilperson Freer. Roll call vote on this, please, Rose.
Councilperson Stroud,
Yes.
Medevere,
Yes.
Yes.
Greer, and Perone.
Yes.
Okay, next we have 18 resolutions before us tonight. None of them are too earth-shaking. I'll go through and describe all 18, and I'll give the public to speak to any of the resolutions, and the town board to speak to any of the resolutions at this segment of the meeting. If there is something that you would wish to talk to the town board about, and it's not related to any of the resolutions, I'll give you that opportunity later in the meeting. This part of the meeting pertains to just the resolutions, please. Okay, for resolution 4.1, please, Rose.
So resolution authorizing license agreement for temporary use of Gurney Lane Recreation Area.
All right, we gave Under the Woods, I think it was $2,500 for my tax to help hold this event. This is a license agreement to allow them temporary use of the Gurney Lane Recreation Area for the purpose of holding the Gurney Mountain Bike Race, which over the years has grown tremendously in popularity. And this is August 7th and August 8th of this year at Gurney Lane. And there's plenty of parking. Don't park on Gurney Lane itself, but there's parking to where the old infirmary used to be. So if you drive by the Warren County Historical Society up above, there's plenty of pavement and parking. So this started off with, I don't know, something like 70, and now we're over 200 participants in it. And not only that, there's a lot of visitors and vendors and everything else. The whole event, though, is to raise money for Heidi and Bob Underwood Under the Woods Foundation, which provides camp for underprivileged children that could use a little something extra in their lives. I'll read you the mission. Under the Woods Foundation mission is to provide experiences that are unique, creative, and adventurous for children that are differently able, including but not limited to the autism spectrum disorders and other developmental disabilities in their families. Under the Woods Foundation implements outdoor summer camps for children which incorporate creative activities, nature themes, family participation, and other related activities. Camp Under the Woods and Camp Summer Social are programs that have been created through the foundation, and the camp supports community development and awareness of children and their families who are impacted by the autism spectrum disorders and developmental disabilities. And I want to thank again Heidi and Bob Underwood for this whole mission and their creation. And so helping to fund that, though, is a great mountain biking experience called the Churney Gurney Mountain Bike Race, August 7th and 8th. All right, so if this board approves this license agreement, that event is a go-ahead. 4.2, please.
It's a resolution authorizing and ratifying extension renewal of agreement between the town of Queensbury and Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District regarding MS4 stormwater management services through June 30, 2022.
All right, so Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District worked with Great Brown and this board to manage our MS4 system. And it's $12,000 a year we pay them to help manage the system. It's a pretty good deal. And the folks at Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District are great folks. Jim Liebram is the executive director. This is for $12,000. It's the same as it has been in recent years. 4.3.
Resolution authorizing agreement between the town of Queensbury and Queensbury Youth Baseball and Softball.
Every year we help subsidize this program so that all kids can afford it and to give them an enhanced opportunity for youth baseball and softball. And this is a subsidy of $15,000 paid from our community fund for 2021. 4.4.
Resolution authorizing engagement of Chief Pete's Lawn Care for one-time cleanup and mowing of abandoned or neglected property at 10 Birch Lane.
All right, so the town of Queensbury's Director of Building and Codes Enforcement, Dave Hatton, has reported to us there's a property at 10 Birch Lane that is in disrepair and need of attention. And it's been neglected, and there's garbage in the back and lawns to be mowed and so forth. This is giving approval to go ahead and get that cleaned up. It's a cheap fee. It's a one-time cleanup. And its quotes are one-time cleanup, $150, a 2-month lawn mowing, $60 per month if it has to go into that for a total of 3 months, not to exceed $333. If the owner of this property takes care of it, then we will stop. If the owner takes care of it before we get to it, it won't be charged anything. But all the costs that are associated with us taking care of this neglected property go on their taxes, so we get reimbursed for it. 4.5.
It's a resolution authorizing engagement of Chief Pete's Lawn Care for mowing of abandoned or neglected property at 72 Linden Road.
And again, this is a property on 72 Linden Road that is in serious neglect. The yard needs to be mowed, and the Director of Building and Codes, Dave Director, has asked us to authorize the monthly mowing of this property. So a monthly mowing would be $75, July through September, for an amount not to exceed $225. And again, same thing. This will be added to their taxes unless they take care of it before we get to it, and no costs are incurred. This board, if it passes this, allows those costs to be incurred if it needs to be. 4.6.
Resolution authorizing settlement of property assessment cases filed by Erie Boulevard Hydropower LP.
Boy, this is a complicated one. Yeah, if you read through the town council's review of this. It's very complicated. And in any event, they reached an agreement. Article 7, real property assessment review cases against the town challenging the 2015 through the 2020 assessments on real property located on Sherman Island on the Hudson River in the town of Queensbury for tax map parcel 315.1-9.6, and where it appears to be in the best interest of the town to avoid significant costs that would result in if litigation continues and goes to trial. The town assessor now recommends the proposed settlement terms, which have been negotiated with the petitioner, and the school district has already approved the proposed settlement terms with Erie Boulevard Hydropower. So the proposed settlement will be as follows: with Erie Boulevard Hydropower, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020 proceedings shall be discontinued. Number 2. A lump sum payment of $100,000 shall be paid to Erie Boulevard Hydropower by the taxing jurisdictions, apportioned among them based on the recent tax rates, with the town's portion of the payment, including special districts, but not including the library district, is approximately $8,100. The assessed value for tax map parcel 315.1-9.6 shall be fixed at $40,807,000 for the 2021 through 2030 assessment rules, and may only be subject to change in limited circumstances, such as where there are substantial physical changes at the property or changes to the taxing jurisdiction taxation structure. So this is a resolve that approval of this settlement is contingent upon special counsel Lewis and Greer and town council's review and approval of the consent order and settlement stipulations. So be it further resolved that the town board further authorizes and directs the town supervisor, town assessor, town clerk, special counsel, and or town council to execute settlement documents and take any additional steps necessary to effectuate the proposed settlement in accordance with the terms of this resolution. Okay, if that gets approved by the board. 4.7.
Resolution authorizing Public Employer Risk Management Association, PERMA, to continue provisions of workers' compensation third-party claims management.
Okay. When they asked me if you want to go with 2 years, I said, yeah, let's go with 2 years. Because last year, our workman's comp was $395,000. This year is proposed to be $313,144. Now, let me give you a little history. When I came into office, 2014, our accident rate exceeded the state's average by a substantial amount. Our workman's comp was $800,000 a year. We implemented a stringent safety program. We implemented strict safety guidelines, and we have reduced that amount substantially below the state's average. So we went from $800,000. Last year was $395,000. The proposal for the next 2 years is $313,144, and year 2, $313,811. And I want to assure the public we will maintain a strict and strong safety program. It's not so much the money as it is the health of our workers, which is the most important thing. But to show that our programs are working, and I got to give department managers credit. Dave Dole is here from the highway department, but all the department managers have worked with us here on the town board to put together a heck of a good safety program for our workers. 4.8.
Resolution approving transient merchant market license for Northeast Realty Development, Kevin Quinn, Naomi Polito.
Okay, they have the TV and the leather outlet up there on Route 9, and what they do is they bring in other merchants. So we have a transit merchant law that is meant to protect local businesses. So if you're an outsider, you have to get permission from this board, and you have to pay a daily fee to retail merchandise that might be in competition with other businesses in the town of Queensbury. I don't know if some of you folks are probably too young, but before we adopted this law, we used to have tractor trailers pulling up alongside Route 9 and selling their wares. I mean, some of it was really nice stuff, like velvet paintings of Elvis Presley. Steer horns, knives that stood about 3 foot tall, made out of, old tin cans. Really nice stuff. In any event, leather goods and other things, they could be opening and compete with businesses in Queensbury. And not only that, but they just pull alongside the road. Yeah, are there highway and public safety issues? Yeah. Well, now, if you're going to bring in outside merchants, we don't prohibit it completely. You have to get permission to do so, and you have to have a plan that's going to assure public safety and some reasonableness. And so, this is an annual request for approving for Americade from Kevin Quinn and Naomi Polito. 4.9.
Resolution acknowledging Town of Monroe's purchase of additional 150,000 gallons of reserve capacity from Town of Queensbury on behalf of Queensbury Consolidated Water District.
All right, this resolution gives a little history. Originally, the Town of Monroe asked us for 1,250,000 gallons per day. Then last year, they came and asked for an additional 100,000 gallons to 1.35 million gallons of reserve capacity per day from the town of Queensbury on behalf of the Queensbury Consolidated Water District. And now they wish to purchase an additional 150,000 gallons of reserve capacity, and they're buying this for 159,000 in accordance with the terms set forth in Section 9. And so this is approving a total purchase of 1.5 million gallons of reserve capacity per day and for 159,000 to the town of Monroe. The water superintendent says we have enough water to do so, but their anticipated growth along Route 9 is one of the reasons they're asking for this additional capacity. 4.10.
Resolution authorizing outsourcing of paving work and purchase of related materials to Peckham Companies and outsourcing of cold planning, milling, and traffic control to Breckenburg Construction.
All right, these are the monies and where the monies are proposed to be spent on various roads with agreement with Peckham, Reifenberg. The highway superintendent is here, and there is an additional 5% contingency of an amount of $21,779 that would cover unforeseen costs when appropriate. And this is to approve that. I mean, just for example, Yorkshire, Bonner, Potter, Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle is one word, by the way. Bay Parkway, Lake Parkway, Brayton Road. Well, Ward 1's going pretty good here. Yeah, except for it's Bonner now. Yeah, I know. I thought that too. All right, so we're also talking about Ash Drive, Fairway Court, and other things. Top of the world. What is the top of the world? Top course, I'm sorry. We've got it fixed out. All right, anyhow, this is approving the highway superintendent, Dave Dool, to go ahead with it. 411.
Resolution authorizing adoption of Section 3 participation plan related to Community Development Block Grant funds through New York State Office of Community Renewal.
All right, thank you. As you probably know, if you've been watching these town board meetings, we're trying to help Montcalm Apartments, formerly known as John Burke Apartments, tie in with the sewer. And the director of the town of Queensbury Sewer is Chris Harrington. And he said that it's very doable. We'll run a line, if we get permission from Queensbury School, along the property line, along the fence that runs between the property line and the Northway, the state of New York property, and do a directional drill under the Northway, and come out to the pump station on Weeks Road. So they are affordable housing, these mock-town apartments. As such, we're asking for money to help them to do this. And we're asking through Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. HUD says, well, fine, but you have to adopt for this purpose and any other purpose that you may do through us, that being HUD, a Section 3 participation plan, which means that what you're doing, if we're going to give you money for this, has to be for low and very low income persons. And that's exactly what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to help Hong, which is subsidized apartments for low and very low income persons. So, you know, and the New York State Office of Homes and Community Renewal, HCR, will hold us accountable for compliance with Section 3 requirements for recipients of HUD funds, including the Community Development Block Grant Program. And that's the program, the Community Development Block Program, that we're going through seeking the funding for this. So these all have to be in place as part of the CFA certified funding application by July 30th, I think it is, 2021. They didn't say 30th, but I believe it's July 30th. So our senior planner, Stu Baker, has prepared a Section 3 preparation plan, which establishes administrative procedures and processes to comply with Section 3, and such participation plan is presented at this meeting. So the resolve on this one is the town board authorizes and directs the town supervisor and senior planner to take such other and further actions as may be necessary to effectuate the terms of this resolution. 4.12.
Resolution authorizing agreement between the town of Queensbury and Adirondack Balloon Festival.
All right, every year we donate $15,000. Every year the county donates $40,000. So that's $55,000. This is a completely voluntary group that puts it together. Nobody gets paid. This money goes to balloonists. You know those big fancy balloons? They don't come on their own. You have to pay them to come. And there's tremendous competition for those balloons that draw all the kids. The big elephants and the bears, and all those other balloons. There's other crops. Traditionally, they spend most of it. There is a little bit of a layover to the next year to help get funding started until they receive funding from the county and town. And those are the only two sources of funding they get to initiate this. Now, the other funding that they get, but they won't be seeing this year, is money from vendors. Trying to deal with the FAA, the CDC, the Warren County Board of Health, which is, a wonderful department. But again, COVID is not gone. And for big events like this, they still require a lot of things to the point where it just wasn't practical or logistical to have vendors. There's not going to be any vendors. There's going to be a huge amount of the public coming to this event. I think everyone's ready to do things. COVID was a long, long spell of doing nothing. So the town's contribution, again, is $15,000. 413.
Resolution authorizing advertisement of bids for demolition of structure on property located at 32 Homer Ave.
All right. There was a fire a couple of years ago at 32 Homer. We've been trying to deal with this for 2 years. The town's Director of Building and Codes Enforcement, Dave Patton, viewed the damaged structure and found it to be a hazard in disrepair, unusable, and unsafe. We have tried to get the owner to take care of this, to razz the structure. The town even commenced a Supreme Court action to compel compliance with all applicable county code provisions. The Supreme Court judgment dated May 4th, 2021, authorized the town to remove the structure if the property owner failed to do so, and the property owner failed to do so. They have not removed the structure in a time specified by the court. So therefore, the director is recommending the town board authorize and advertise for bids to demolish the structure in accordance with the terms of the judgment. The structure reportedly has asbestos. So Dave has talked to one asbestos inspection services called Spectrum Environmental Associates. They're going to charge him $250 to draft a bid or an RFP, a request for proposal. I know these acronyms are all over. A request for proposal, what we call an RFP, to bid this project. So, this is the town board authorizing and directing the town's purchasing agent to publish an advertisement for bids for demolishing the structure located on the property of 32 Homer Avenue. 414.
Resolution to amend 2021 town budget.
All right. The top items, $9,000 for handicap accommodations at the transfer stations. That was, well, we knew that was coming, but that's shifting money to make that happen. The others are consultants for Pinnacle, and the liability insurance increase was $13,000, so we moved money into that. The rest of the code 032s that you see, it goes on to the next page. Those are all adjustments that deal with the consolidated sewer district that we approved. Okay, that's what the rest of it's all about. 415.
Resolution authorizing advertisement of bids for sale or disposition of obsolete equipment.
If this board approves it, you can buy some old cell phones, like the iPhone S, iPhone 6S, iPhone 7, iPhone 6, some Galaxy, I don't know what, some Palm Porter. Anyhow, you can go on Gut Deals and see it and buy it if you want. 416.
Resolution approving audits of bills, warrants 6/30/2021 and 7/13/2021.
All right, the payment dates of June 30th should be July 30th. Payment dates of June 30th and July 13th, totaling $344,413.46 and $841,279.63 respectively. 417.
Resolution authorizing engagement of the Chazen companies for technical services associated with preparation of a consolidated funding application for water quality improvement program grant in support of Rockhurst Community Sewer Project.
Okay, so this is not new news. It's been news long in the gestation. Gestation is a good word. Yeah, so we're trying to establish the North Queensbury Rockhurst Community Sewer District. In other words, Rockhurst is a very narrow peninsula. It's like a glacial moraine. And they have, I think it's 52 residences on that very narrow, small peninsula, exceeding the comfort level of having on-site systems, at least for this board, and for many others. LGA, the Fund for Lake George, now the LGA, supports us trying to go in this direction of developing a community system. They've even contributed $25,000 towards the establishing of this district, towards engineering studies and the preparation of a map plan and report. So we had Chazen give us a proposal of $61,620 to put together the engineering program and map plan and report. Well, public hearings and other things, like a new system, sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you're learning a lot more than you did when you started, and that's the case here. So, in discussions with other New York State people, Sean Doty, the engineer for Chase and working on this project, has said that we're more likely to get approval and grant money if we do this. Each resident, if we can get this community system going, each resident will have a pre-treatment, an ITU, use your acronyms, ETU I mean, Enhanced Treatment Unit. So each unit would get pre-treatment. Then that would be piped to a pumping station, which in turn goes to a filtration bed further inland, away from Lake George. So instead of having 52 individual systems of various conditions, probably polluting Lake George in various ways, we will try and minimize or eliminate altogether any pollution going to Lake George by developing a community system. But it's tremendously expensive. And a lot of people want this to work. So it's only going to work if we apply for grant money. So this is $5,000 to Chazen to put a grant in, and it has to be in by the end of July. And they pretty much have done a lot of the technical work required for this. To get a water quality improvement program grant, that's WQIP. Now that grant will pay up to 75% of the capital cost of installing the system, up to $10 million. So this resolution is authorizing and directs me and the wastewater director, town council, and town budget officer to take any actions necessary to effectuate the terms of this resolution. Okay. The last one, please, Rose.
So resolution authorizing technical services change order number 1 concerning Chazen Company's development of engineering report and map planning report in connection with proposed establishment of North Queensbury Rockford Sewer District.
All right. The last system that I described, the one with the ETU, and I didn't say this, but each grinder pump, that'll be privately owned, going to a publicly owned piping system that goes to a publicly owned filtration bed, well, pump station, then filtration bed. All right, so this last request, after a lot of hard work by Chazen, and they've run out of budgeted money, this is $8,800 to finish up the design of that and make that our submission to the CFA application process by the end of the month. So if the town board approves them, they got to get busy and get that in. Those are the resolutions before the town board tonight. Before I ask town board and their thoughts on any of the resolutions, I'll ask the public. Any member of the public wish to speak to any of the 18 resolutions before us tonight? Let me look online. All right. Any interest with the public present? Any of the 18 resolutions? Town board. Any thoughts, anything on the 18 resolutions? Go ahead.
So I just want to follow up on 4.1 and that, I think one of the beneficiaries of what Under the Woods Camp does is provide some relief for caregivers of these disabled or differently abled autism. It's quite a relief to be able to have a break. And I think that's what one of the biggest benefits of this is to provide a break for some caregivers, and I laud their efforts, and I think it's incredibly good that we're able to participate in it.
Thank you for that. Anything else? Any resolution you'd like to have pulled for roll call? No. Okay.
Hey, John?
Yeah. Tim.
Tim here.
Yeah.
I got a question on 4.8. I read through the packet that Mr. Quinn submitted and the response from Craig Brown. Have we gotten a follow-up from Mr. Quinn in terms of presenting the DOT permit or revising the plan to show us the specific visual locations?
Yeah, well, he has a generic plan that I put together for him some years ago. And Craig Brown goes after the specifics, so I kind of depend on Craig to fulfill the rest of this person's vendor's obligations. Tim?
And I would also...
But I understand in previous years, Mr. Quinn has not submitted to the DOT permit? If so, if we require him to do so, I think we should make that part of the resolution to make sure he submits to the DOT permit, because you don't want to get somebody hurt on Route 9 as you explained. It's kind of a busy road.
Well, what do you think?
Well, John, I was going to say that for years that request has come through the planning board, and I know for years they've looked at that request and have approved that. So I believe that he adheres to everything that we need. Maybe it wasn't in the paperwork that was submitted, but I think based on experience, it has been. So I'd give him the benefit of the doubt.
And Caroline's letter to him says that if your application is approved by the town board, your license will not be issued without the updated New York State DOT permit.
All right, he already says that, Tim.
Noticed him, it's in the packet.
Okay, it's in the packet, Tim.
He sent that letter.
Tim, did you hear
So
that?
it is addressed. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we had that addressed.
Okay.
Caroline has it addressed.
All right, we do. Thank you for bringing that up. Anything else, Tim?
No, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, how about a resolution approving 4.1 through 4.18? Moved by Councilperson Medevere, seconded by Councilperson Brown. Roll call vote on resolutions 4.1 through 4.18.
Councilperson Stroud,
Yes.
Medevere,
Yes.
Breer,
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Any correspondence, Rose?
I have the supervisor's report from Community Development and Building and Codes for the month of June on file in the town clerk's office.
Thank you. Privilege of the floor. Anybody present wish to speak to the town board about any town topic? All right, seeing none. Seeing none on the Zoom. Let's do town board discussions. Let's start with Tony.
All right. So, really the only thing I have since Dave is here, I don't know about the rest of you, but getting an awful lot of requests, inquiries, demands about road issues. And I think what I'm seeing is that, there's a tremendous amount of issues in the town that are coming to me anyway. And, a lot of frustration out there from folks that want to get their projects done. And if Dave can help me out, 78 square miles of road or something like that.
Total number of miles?
Yeah.
That is 200.
Yeah. So I think people are getting frustrated, but they have to realize, we're a big town. And I know that folks want their stuff done, but, they just have to be a little bit patient so we can get to everything.
So this road repair, Tony, you're talking about?
It's not necessarily road repair. It's culvert repair. It's signs. It's
a lot of stuff. I mean, I've never, in 13 years, I've never seen the amount of requests that we're getting this year. It's unbelievable. And, you know, people's patience are wearing thin, but so is our resources. So all I can say is just, I beg you, just be a little bit patient. You know, we'll get to everything, but it's going to take a little bit of time. You know, you get one request from somebody, but there's 7, 8, 9, 10 requests behind it. And, it's just constant. So I'm just asking folks to just, you know, bear with us. We'll get to you. And, just, you know, we're doing our best. They're doing their best. You guys aren't hanging out doing nothing all day, right? So busy every day. So, you know, like I said, I've never quite seen anything like this before. That it's just every single day is something else. And I know that people are coming down pretty hard on me, and you know, we'll get to you. It's not that we're not working at it, we're not ignoring you. It's just that there's a lot going on. So weather hasn't been great this year. I don't know if the weather, you know, prohibits you from doing your daily activities, but you know, I tell people, look, you know, you're on the docket. We'll get to you. So it'll get done. It's just that it can't get done yesterday. It'll get done. I don't know if you want to add anything, but you know, I know that I'm, I guess, taking my frustrations out on you a little bit, but people are taking their frustrations out on me. And, you know, I told one constituent, I'll go move the sign for them if they want. You know, not that I can, I would. Might get arrested for it, but you know, I'm doing everything I can to help these folks out. And Dave, you and I, we talk every day. You know, yeah. So you know, it's not like we're not addressing the issues. It's just that it's got to be patient for it. We'll get there.
And I think I think to tag on to that, Tony, I mean, the 9L road repair that is in progress, I mean, we are trying to do that in a fashion that is efficient, so that we don't rip up the road and then have to build, you know, rip it up again to put new water lines down, right? So I think there's a lot of thought going into how we're doing it and why we're doing it and when we're doing it. And I think that, you know, I get questions like that too. You know, why isn't this done? Well, there's usually a good reason. And so just to tag the team with your advice is that we are working hard to get things done.
Yeah, and we really are. You know, every day. Every day. So I think we do things very smart around here. And like you just said, we could have had Woodrow paved 2 years ago, but we'd be ripping it up this year, which makes no sense. I actually had to go up over Tongue Mountain a couple weeks ago, and they had repaved Tongue Mountain 2 or 3 years ago. Did a beautiful job, and it's all ripped up now because they have to replace a bridge. So somebody wasn't thinking, and we don't need that around here. So, you know, we'll get to it, but it's going to take some time. So that's all. Dave, I've said to you a million times over, thank you for everything. I mean, you always respond, and, you know, you and I are out on golf courses, but not golfing at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, we're doing our best. So, but that's really good. And I guess I'll chime in on the marijuana thing. I took a little bit of heat, mostly from some family members this weekend, because I can never shut my mouth. But, you know, the fact remains, and I hope that the 9 people that responded on the comments to the Post-Star, they better show up in 2 weeks, because they all have something to say. You know, we're the bad guy, and yet, you know, there's a lot that goes into this. I've done a tremendous amount of research on this issue, and at the end of the day, the important thing to remember is if we opt out of everything. So it's not the fact that I'm condoning use, I encourage use, I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that if we opt out of this, then we don't get any of the reward from it. And that's an important piece because, everybody wants their taxes to go down and, to live in a great town and have all the things that we have. But, we're just not haphazardly saying, hey, everybody, let's go smoke pot. It's not what we're saying. We're simply saying if we opt out of this, then we opt out completely. So before you, give me grief for it, do your homework. I'm doing mine. I know everybody on this board's doing it. And, again, we're not encouraging the use of it. We're just saying that there's a lot involved in this. So please give us a break. We could lose out a tremendous amount of money, or we can reap the rewards of a new law that's in effect that can benefit the town. So, if you have a lot to say, don't hide behind some fictional name. Come out here, talk to us. Give us your reasons why you think we should or shouldn't. And if we shouldn't, we'll listen to you. If we should, we'll listen to you. And at the end of the day, we'll make a decision. But, I have spent hours on this just to try to figure out the safety aspects. And, there's studies out there that talk about the use of marijuana, driving, and the safety of it. And, is there more crime? Is there less crime? And, unfortunately, there's not a lot of information out there because with marijuana use, it's usually with other drugs or alcohol. And so, they can't really define if I get in my car and, I just used marijuana and I caused an accident. Rarely is it because I used marijuana, which I don't. I will say that for the record. But what I'm saying is that usually there's something else involved in it. So, just give us a little bit of a break because it's a big decision and there's a lot of good that can come with it. There potentially could be a lot of bad. But, we do our homework and spend some time over the next 2 weeks doing your own research. It's out there. And, and bring your thoughts to us, especially your 9 people that chimed in and said, it's all about the money. Well, at the end of the day, yeah, it's all about the money. And the town, we're a great town. We're not the wealthiest town in the world, but we're pretty well off. But, this could be very beneficial to the town financially. So that's what I'm looking at. And if I'm wrong, I'd love to hear it from you. So yeah, I would love to hear it from you. And I am open-minded, and if at the end of the day we decide this is not a great idea, then so be it. But on the flip side, if it's a great idea, I'd love to hear that as well. So,
July 26th.
Yes.
And would you point out that no license has been issued for on-site consumption here in the activity center, okay?
Hey, somebody made
For the record, I wasn't at that workshop.
Somebody made a comment. Oh, all us guys up here are smoking pot all night. It's not the point of it. This is a huge decision and could, benefit the town very well financially. It's all about the money. It is about the money. It really is. And
what you need to equate it to, Tony, is that the money is about service. I think there's a lot of times where people don't think about what's behind all of the service provided through Parks and Rec. We just talked about giving the baseball organization $15,000. If we do a lot of community funds, they don't happen every meeting, but they happen often enough. If they come regularly, you'll hear that we're putting money out there for community supported activities. People don't think, well, gee, where did that money come from? Right. It comes from things like this.
Right. So, I shouldn't read the blogs, but I do because I think it's a good gauge of how people feel. But this one really just, I was really upset by it because I just, you know,
Don't be upset, because what happens is, it's the one thing that irks me too, is the anonymity that goes on when people respond to these things, where if you knew who it was, they would never tell you what they're saying.
right.
And that unfortunately is, whatever publication you look at, they allow that. It's not right.
No, it's not right.
I don't agree.
I don't read the blogs.
And John's good. He does not read the blogs. Yeah. And one of these days I'll get smart enough to not read them either. But like I said, I gauge everything on what I read in the blogs, because it opens my mind. But in this particular case, it's a big decision. But again, if we opt out of all of the financial benefits. And, that means that when budget time comes around, and in the event, and I'm not encouraging that we raise taxes. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that, if we were to opt out of this, we're in the same predicament we are right now, in that, we need to balance a budget. So if this works for us, and I joke, but John, I'd love to see us open up a Chick-fil-A in town and reap those rewards as well. But we'll see how that goes. That's all I'm saying, but I'll stop.
Okay, well, thank you.
And I know the other day you said to me, well, it's on the record. Hey, it's on the record. I'm fine with that. I opened my mouth and it's on the record, but I'm just simply saying that, I personally do my research before I make a decision. And in this case, I'd hate to see us lose out. That's all.
July 26th, we'll listen to the public.
Yep.
Thank you, Tony. Harrison?
Interesting that you mentioned blogs, because I rarely read them and I hardly ever write on them, but I did write on one this week. And I guess the first thing I wanted to say is the community lost somebody that I believe contributed in many, many ways, and that's Joan Grishcott passing. I had the honor of getting to know her a little bit from the Balloon Fest, but then more at our church. And she just brought so much energy, and I didn't know her history in terms of the county health organization that she had to stand up, but I was honored to have met and know her. She'll be a loss to this community, especially as we get to Balloon Fest. Secondly, last solicitation for anyone in the community that's interested in short-term rentals and setting up a short-term rental advisory committee. We have enough people to do that, but we could use a couple more. So if you're interested in getting involved in making sure that we're doing the right thing and skating to the puck, or having some vision on how we manage short-term rentals, please contact me, and we'll probably be having a meeting toward the end of the month. I got to figure out how to make sure that we announce it properly and do it properly and all that good stuff. And that brings me to a comment about, I think that people are championing, and I certainly endorse, some reform to open meeting laws that take advantage of some of the lessons we learned. I think the Association of Towns is working it, and I certainly hope that we can make some reasonable open meeting law reforms, like allowing Tim to participate more than, but I think that's in progress, and I'm glad to see it. And then finally, the Climate Smart Community Committee submitted, Kathy Bozzoni submitted our next round of paperwork to get identified as a climate smart community, and I keep cheering that on. I feel bad for the people out west, because they're just dealing with one heat umbrella after another. But I'm glad to see that we're not sitting on the sidelines as a town and trying to work how we can be climate smart in that regard. And that's it for me.
Oh, thank you, Harrison. George?
I don't have anything specific. The only thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was we sat here for probably a year plus talking about COVID. And I know we're in a better place today. We were back a year ago. But I think reading the paper the other day, I still note that there is still some COVID activity out there. I think there were 5 people that had gotten COVID the other day in Warren County. Yeah, 2 more today. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that, we still need to be vigilant about this. I mean, if you're not vaccinated, wear your masks, wash your hands. We should still continue to do all these things because we're not completely out of the woods yet. We still have to be cognizant of the fact that this is out there and we have to be aware of it.
Get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, get vaccinated. Anything else, George?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Jim? Anything?
Just one thing, Harrison, I appreciate you bringing up Joan's passing. She was a great mentor of mine as we worked through opening the church, and I think the community is mourn her loss because of all that she was involved in. Next would be John and I participated in the christening ceremony over the weekend. West Glens Falls Fire Company brought in a new pumper truck that had never been in a christening ceremony before, but it was the highlight was the chief, Keith Daly, talking about how they have 41 volunteers, and when it comes to a call, they get 15 volunteers no matter what time of the day. I mentioned that I think volunteers are the strength of the community, and at West Glens Falls Fire Department, it shows that every day. I did send out a note to the board members. We've talked about our emergency service and our first responders throughout the 18 months of COVID. I believe that prior to COVID, there was some discussion about increasing the annual stipend that we send to provide to our providers. I'd like to bring that up again. I don't know, John, if we need to do that in a workshop or not, but I think it's time that we get beyond just thanking them, but also show them fiscally that we really appreciate what they have done for us. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Tim. Yeah, I'll put it down. I mean, I'm trying to gather some things for the workshop later this month. Next Monday. No. Yeah, next Monday, isn't it? 12th? Yeah, 19th.
Yes.
At 3 p.m. So I'm putting together some things. That can be one of them. We look at enhancing the program as we're legally allowed to do. All right, thank you, Tim. And now me. And some of this has already been mentioned, and that's okay. But Michael Good on July 9th composed our title is Joan Griscott, remembered as a health pioneer, detailed-oriented planner of the Balloon Festival. And as you know, she just recently passed, and she will be dearly missed. And it was she and her husband, Walter, who started the Balloon Festival. And not only was that a great accomplishment on behalf of Joan and her husband, Walter passed away in 2011, but she was the Warren County Health Services Director from 1966 to 1997. She's a registered nurse and made huge contributions to our community, and not only in public health, but with the Balloon Festival. And like I said, she'll dearly be missed, and we appreciate everything she's done for us. Also, as you know, CT Mouse John Muncie was helping us with the Jenkinsville thing. He is a hydrogeologist. He passed recently too. It was all of a sudden, not that old, 60. And so we're working on getting somebody to replace him so that we can analyze the data coming out of the Jenkinsville area and what it means to our public and how we can safely protect our public moving forward. And so John Muncie, we'll miss you too. So Joan and John, our thoughts are there, and your presence will always be with us. I also went to Waiawaka, and they had the restoration of the House of Tricks. Waiawaka is a center for women, and it was created decades ago. It was created in 1903, and again, I'm reading from the Post-Star article, and it was very nice being part of the ribbon cutting ceremony up there. That's a great organization, Waiawaka. Also, Harrison went to this too, was the International Cuisine Festival at Lake George Festival Commons, a fundraiser for the World Awareness Children's Museum, and again, another great local institution to our region. We sent, what's that? We sent out an update for being agency, put this together with John Muncie and reviewed by Town Council Mark Shackner. And, you know, it was the facts and recent developments and what are the potential health risks. And it's a 4-page letter we sent out to the residents of Jeffersonville to keep them informed as to what's going on. That's one of our main goals. Did I read this last time? Thank you to the Region Post 233 for putting together the Memorial Day ceremony, the remembrance ceremony. Also, I mentioned this in the last meeting, but it's worth mentioning again, is our assessment department and all the work they do to give us an equalization of 100%. That requires a lot of work on their behalf. And my last announcement, again, is coming up pretty soon. You have Saturday the 24th at the Warren County DPW off of Main Street in Warrensburg. Saturday the 24th from 9 to 2. It's your opportunity to bring your antifreeze, your pesticides, your oil-based paints, your corrosive cleaners, your fluorescent bulbs up to get rid of them responsibly. Do not bring latex paint. That's not a hazardous waste. Don't bring munitions, automotive oil, batteries, asbestos, pharmaceuticals, infectious waste, or tires. But you can bring many other things. If you go on the Warren County's website, you can get more information on this. It's free to Warren County residents. All right, those are my notices. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, well, I want to thank Joe Barlow and Look TV. Thank Bob Hafner, Town Council, and Deputy Town Clerk Rose Mellon for attending, and the Town Board and the public who is here. You know, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I have a side file. I'll do it next time. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, one of my favorite things to do is attending Eagle Scout ceremonies, and I did for Grant Lamry and Sean Streets, and both got their Eagle Scouts, and I think highly of them, and you can get thank you notes from them. That was nice. I also want to give mention to June 12th, and Harrison was part of this too. Kathy Bozzoni helped to organize it, and Emma Reed, and it was our Reuse Recycle Day. Also involved in this with Biketodia, Freedom Machines, Arc Home Recycling, Open Door, Catholic Charities, Glensport Lion Club, BEST, Salvation Army, Elks Lodge 81, American Clothing Recycling, and it was very successful. And so 133 pounds of non-perishable food for the open door pantry, plus shoes and clothing were given. American Clothing collected 1,889 pounds of clothing that will be distributed, donated, and sold in many countries, including regions of the USA. Lions Club, Glensport Association for the Blind, collected 350 pairs of eyeglasses. Biketodia received 50 bicycles, some best used for parts, but many that were taken back to the shop repair and given as a donation and reused. BEST, Naira Backstretch, collected boxes of work boots, jeans, jackets, shirts, blankets, comforters, sheets. Victory Closet, which is Catholic Charities Domestic Violence, were overwhelmed with donations. And they got 300 pieces of fall and winter and 300 pieces of spring and summer clothing, 50 pairs of shoes, and carloads of kitchen appliances, dishware, and lanterns. So we're waiting for additional stats on computer and metal recycling, and the zero waste is part of the goal. So Kathy Bozzoni is a consultant that we hire to help the town board achieve environmentally good things. Warren County urges fire safety. All right. A lot of fireworks out there, and a lot of what I'm hearing are illegal, and there's a bunch of injuries that occur from the misuse of the fireworks or use of illegal fireworks. Sparklers and those kind of things are legal. But what I'm hearing, the big bombs and things that fly in the air, most of those are illegal. But the problem is safety. People are getting hurt when they're used. All right, and that does it. I've got this, but I want to save that for next time. All right, now I'll entertain a motion to.
So moved.
All right, moved by Councilperson Freer, seconded by Councilperson Brown. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. 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 We're now adjourned.
The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls is proud to partner with Central Insurance Companies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian-American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.